Welcome to the Greg and Leisa Show.
I'm Greg, and I haven't figured out that thing with the hat yet.
And I'm Lisa. And our topic this week is Christmas vacation with the kids and how to kind of de stress it and make it work out for everybody. But before we get started, I had one of my other friends that I wanted to tell you her family tradition. That was Angel. And she said one of the things that she remembers is when her grandma would get all the kids together for the weekend and they would drive around and look at Christmas lights. And she said the other favorite thing is that she has when they all gathered at her aunt's house and they exchange gifts and laugh and have fun and play games. And she just loves one of the favorites her aunt makes, and that's a sweet potato pie and warm rolls with butter. Sounds good to me. I don't know about you, Greg. It's making me hungry
Yeah, and
already.
for those of you that don't know, you hear sweet potato pie and think, whoa, if you've never had it before, but
Mhm.
it's really a lot like pumpkin pie.
Yeah.
It's just a little different, but it's not too far off.
No. And it tastes good.
It is good,
Mhm.
yes.
Well, Christmas vacation for kids typically means that they're off school for 2 weeks. And as parents, you may not always be able to take that time off school. And the question is, what are you going to do?
Well, first of all, children are a blessing from God. Let me say that again. Children are a blessing from God, and you may not always feel like they are, but they are. LOL indeed. So, next, we're going to read a few Bible verses first, just so you can think about them as we discuss our topic. So I'll start off Psalm chapter 127, verse 3. Children are a heritage from the Lord, offspring a reward from Him.
That's where children are a blessing from God because He has blessed us with these children. And He has entrusted them in our care to teach them and train them up in the way they should go. Deuteronomy 6 through 7 says, "These commandments that I give you today are to be in your hearts. Impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home, when you're walking along the road, when you lie down, and when you get up." And that's our responsibility is to teach our children about the 10 commandments and the way to live.
All right, and then Proverbs chapter 17, verse 6. Children's children are a crown to the aged, and parents are the pride of their children.
See, that's the first parts for me as a grandma.
I think
My
you're only
children's
25 though,
children,
so I don't know how
yeah,
that math
are a
works, but
crown to the aged, and that's why we love our grandkids. And then the parents, as our children get older, we become pride to our kids if we have raised them correctly. Matthew 18, 2 to 6. And I'm only reading the first one, and it says, "And whoever welcomes one such child in my name welcomes me." It's kind of like when you welcome the least of these, you've welcomed me.
Yes.
And so we never know when somebody is asking for help or we doing something for somebody that we are in essence, might be doing it for Jesus Christ himself.
Probably safer to assume you're just always doing that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
That's what we're supposed to
Yep.
do.
All right, Matthew chapter 18 again, verse 10 this time. "See that you do not despise one of these little ones, for I tell you that their angels in heaven continually view the face of my Father in heaven."
So what do you think that means? I think that means
Yeah.
that, angels are always around our kids.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
the angels have a direct route to God, the Heavenly Father. And so they'll,
I mean,
seeing
yeah, it's
what's
truly,
going on.
nothing we do is done in secret. Like
No.
he knows, the angels know.
Yeah, He knows everything.
Yes.
So we can't think that we're ever going to get away with anything.
So I mean, during Christmas vacation, you may need to remind yourself that children are a gift from God. So let's think about this. Children are used to being in school with a structured setting. What happens with no structure? Chaos.
That's right.
Chaos, people.
That's right. And we are all creatures of habit. And as our children are growing up, they are developing their habits as they grow up. And trust me, they will mimic you. So
yes, they do.
They are little ones that absorb like sponges. And if you don't want them to do something, then you better not be doing it yourself.
Absolutely.
But
Yep. So everyone's kids are different. So you'll need to take some of these ideas, mold them to fit your family dynamics.
that's right. And hopefully these will help alleviate some of the Christmas vacation stress.
So you can start with pre-planning. Some Christmas traditions we talked about last week. You may be able to incorporate into your Christmas vacation days.
You might, or you might have already started. Some kids are out of school already, and some don't get out until this Thursday.
Absolutely.
But one of the first things you should do is talk to your kids about what they would like to do in their Christmas vacation. Some of their answers may totally surprise you. Sometimes we think as parents that we know what they would like to do, but when we start talking about it, it's not even on their radar. So, sometimes it's better off to listen to them and see what they would like to do.
Right. So yeah, if it is feasible, let each child pick something they would like to do, and then do it as a family. Now, sometimes your child may come up with something that's
Yeah, it has to
you
be
know,
within reason.
I've heard some things said in my house,
Mm-hmm.
but there really are a lot of things that are reasonable, and reasonable doesn't mean, oh, you think it's great.
Yeah,
you have to
yeah,
think outside your own box a little bit on that one.
you do. And make a calendar for Christmas vacation so that they can look at the days and they can kind of see what's coming. But planning the weeks does not always mean that you have to leave your house. You can have a pajama day. You can stay at home all day, watch movies, make popcorn, and play games.
And this day and age, as far as watching movies with streaming, many of us have these platforms, so it's easy to find movies, but you don't have to subscribe to that stuff. Most of us, I think, have
Oh,
some
yeah.
tapes or some DVDs lying
Tubi,
around.
well, and
Yep.
Tubi is a free streaming advice, and Redeem TV is a free streaming advice. So there are free
There are a lot of free things,
alternatives,
and
right?
like if you have a Roku TV, there's
Mm-hmm.
free programming on there. I think
Right.
Amazon TVs have a similar type of thing. So there is a lot of options. There are a lot of options out there.
Right. And if each kid picks a movie they would like to watch, then, you're pretty much watching movies all day and having popcorn and
No,
just chilling.
nothing wrong with
So,
that.
right.
Another thing you can do, plan a sleepover with their cousins or some friends. The kids definitely enjoy this, and you can engage them making pizza, with them doing crafts, popcorn, once again, a movie, all kinds of stuff you can do there.
Right. And maybe there are grandparents who would love to spend time with the grandkids on their Christmas vacation. Maybe it's for a day one on one, or maybe it's a sleepover for all the grandkids to come over. And if that happens, then it gives mom and dad a break as well.
Right. You can check with your local library. They have lots of activities that are usually free for the family or kids to do. Locally here on January 1st, there's a story walk trail all day, bright winter night. Check lists of events. Some of the things that happen are pause for reading, preschool story time, school age explorers, library tech toys, movies on the main big screen for families. There's Pokemon clubs if your kids are into that, etc. So the library is a great resource and it's free. And, our local library, all those things. Seeing different authors come in and talk, and they have
Mm-hmm.
authors of children's books come in too, or even authors who didn't necessarily write children's books who just like to talk to kids about reading and stuff. So
Right. Plus, they
there,
have
yeah,
classes on teaching about computers and
yes, but
software.
especially during the holidays, there's a
Right.
lot of holiday themed
Right.
stuff
Right.
going on.
But you can also search your local area for free events or minimal cost events. If I know that one of my grandkids is coming over, I will search what's going on in the area that weekend and I'll see what's happening. But you can go, a lot of times the art museums are free. You can do drive through nativities, drive through Christmas lights displays. And I find that if I know that the grandkids are coming over and I just devote that time to them, it's a much better experience than trying to do what I want to do or get work done while they're there. I try to give them that time when they are at grandma's house.
Sure. Other options, maybe a night away at a hotel that has a pool, an indoor pool if you're in Northeast Ohio, or maybe an outdoor pool if you're somewhere in a warmer climate. But
Mm-hmm.
the hotel, it can be less expensive, through the week on average compared to doing a bunch of different things on separate days at separate places and paying for tickets to this and that. And a pool is, it's great fun for the kids. My kids, your grandkids could
Yeah.
spend a lot of time in a pool if allowed.
Yeah. They can. They like the water. And you can also look at different sites for coupons too. A lot of times there's price breaks when you do search to get a coupon to go to some place like that or any of the activities. You can look at local attractions like zoo or ice skating, various holiday events to give kids new and learning experiences as they're off on their vacation.
Yep, and for those of us in kind of the Midwest/East Coast area, but you can also travel. A trip to Ogilvy Park in Wheeling, West Virginia, if you're close enough. There's always coupons, usually on Groupon and other app sites for discounts for the family. That's just a beautiful area
It
to
is.
go down
It
to.
is. And you can even take a 1 day bus tour and go down there too. A
Yeah,
lot of the
yeah.
bus companies
For
take
us in
those.
Northeast Ohio, it's
Hmm.
really only a couple hours, really.
Right, right. So you can pick a theme for the day, which help the kids to learn something new. Maybe pick a different country and do a craft that matches that country, or make food that is, prevalent in that country. So that way, get the kids involved, let them make something new and learn something new.
You could start a business over the holiday and teach your kids about business. Holiday cookies are a great way to start. Bake cookies, sell them to family and friends, teach them from the ground up. First that can sound odd, but I've been down here working on my business, and I've had my boys come down here asking, "Can I have a little desk? Can I do some work too?" And
Mm-hmm.
so that they're really, your kids' mileage may vary, but a lot of
Yeah.
them will be interested in
Well,
that
yeah,
kind of
they will
thing.
be, and they're curious. They're very curious, and they would like to know. And I was talking to my daughter this week because my brain is always going; it never shuts off. And I
But
had came up with
you
an idea
go
while
ahead.
I was on the road this last week. And when you think about it, because I was thinking about Christmas vacation and how there are parents who do struggle during this time, or they're
Hmm.
dreading Christmas vacation. They don't know what they're going to do with the kids, and they're maybe too old to go to daycare, but you have to work and pay the bills. And so I came up with this idea. It's called the Christmas Camp. Now, what that is like it's the week between Christmas and New Year's where you
Hmm.
can set up a camp either at a church or, a park or something depending on your location, and just do a Christmas camp for the week where parents can bring their kids. And of course, they're going to learn about Christ, but they're also going to meet new people, make crafts, do things, do fun things, and, have their time away from mom and dad while they're working. That'll give them something to concentrate on. But it's a good idea, and I think it's something that would be good. It's good for a ministry, it's good for grandparents that want to get involved, it's good for somebody wanting to start a business, or even a daycare that wants an offshoot for that week. So think about it, because we always think of camp during the summertime, or we always think about things like that, but we have this Christmas vacation that you know could be a fun idea.
Right. So a fun fact on that one is you could have not told me that was your idea, and I would have known that was your idea. It really is a good idea, though. I
Yeah.
joke about it, but that really is a nice idea.
Yeah.
That week between Christmas and New Year's can be tougher because there's generally not as much going on
Right.
there.
Right. There's not. And, if you haven't saved your vacation time or your PTO days and
Hmm.
you can't take that extra time off, it would be a great resource and a great opportunity. So,
Absolutely. So, in all of this, we are not saying that you have to plan the entire vacation. Kids need time to play with their new Christmas toys. They need to learn to entertain themselves. You are not the cruise director. You do not have to constantly 24/7 provide entertainment.
that's right. You don't.
You need to learn to de-stress, put some guidelines in place, house rules. It is a time of relaxing, but you can't let the whole ship fall apart.
No, you can't. And you have to realize that you need to learn to de-stress and put some
Hmm.
guidelines in place or house rules, because kids are always going to be kids, and there's
Absolutely.
always going to be sibling quarrels, and there's going to be bickering and fighting and tattling and rivalry, and these are all normal things. But you have a choice as a parent to either let these things drive you crazy, or you have a choice to make something work that will help you get through these times.
Right.
And kids are challenging, whether they're biologically yours or whether you've adopted them or you're foster parenting or grandparents raising grandkids today.
So you didn't really let anybody off the hook in that one.
No,
No.
everybody's covered in that.
So yeah, I mean, kids ultimately they want your attention.
Mm-hmm.
Any attention to them is better than no attention. So all kids need attention. They want to know they're important enough for you to put down your phone, stop watching your movie, and acknowledge they're there and meet their emotional needs.
Right. When you think about their emotional needs, I kind of equate that to your gas tank. If your emotional needs tank is empty, how are you going to behave?
Not well.
Right. If your emotional gas tank is half full, you're probably going to behave a little better.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, you can relate. We can relate to it as adults, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
we get a little grumpy when our needs aren't being met.
Mm-hmm.
We just have a little different of a brain that can control it a little better. But ultimately, we're not really any different in the way we feel than the kids are.
Right. Right. But you want to make sure that your kid's emotional gas
Absolutely.
tank is
Yes.
full. Because trust me, if they don't get the attention from you, they're going to get it from somewhere.
Yes, they
And you
will.
want that to come from you.
Mm-hmm.
Our kids learn from us, and younger kids want your attention. The teenagers think they don't need your attention, but they really do want it. Um, and I can't stress enough how important it is that you spend that one on one time with each kid. Each kid needs one on one time with a mom, each kid needs one on one time with a dad. If you don't have a two-parent household, then you need to find that pseudo dad that or father figure. Like my grandpa was, or my dad was really close to my son.
Sure.
And so that one-on-one time is important, and that helps you build that relationship with your kids. If you don't have that time and you just get stuck in the hustle and bustle of feeding them and clothing them and getting them dinner and putting them to bed, and you're not really listening to them and talking to them, you're not building that relationship either. And so you really need to pay attention to that. And I know it's hard, but you need to do this. Maybe you sign up for a class with your son and it's one on
Sure.
one. I mean, I signed up for, my daughter and I took various dance classes, from square dancing to hip hop to
That's a
jazz.
fact. She's taking our daughter line dancing, so
Yes,
this is all real. And that's
yes,
the
it
great
is.
thing about son-in-law and mother-in-law doing a show.
Yeah,
We can vouch.
yeah. But you need to be actively involved in your kids'
Yes, you
lives.
do.
So, and that means that sometimes in order to do this, you might have to say no to something that you want to do.
Sure.
Because someday these kids are going to be grown and gone, and you're going to have all the time to do what you would want to do. And we make sacrifices for our kids, for their emotional tanks, and for their well being as they are growing up.
All right, or when you hear that Cat Stevens song "Cats in the Cradle," you will understand they grew up just like you, and they won't want to spend time with you because they are too busy. It will all hit home.
That's
So
right.
yeah, be creative. Break up that time off.
Yeah.
Trade days with other moms who have kids on Christmas break or their dads. Have each other's kids over for the day. Kids are typically better at other people's houses, which is 155.3% true.
That's right.
I did rough numbers on
Yeah,
that,
but there is one thing on my list is not on your list, and it's number 15. And it's about going sled riding and having snowball fights, and even indoor snowball fights are fun.
I was going to say, it's like number 15, like, we write these outlines out, and
Yeah.
I'm like, 15? Did I miss a page on mine?
No. So even if it's not snowing at your house and you can't go outside and make snow angels and have a snowball fight and build a snowman or an igloo, you can have an indoor snowball fight.
And just so you know, this is the type of activity you learn from Hallmark movies, so just a cautionary tale.
Yeah. But we're going to give you some coping skills to kind of help you during the break. But we're only going to give you a few because we are going to do a show on disciplining your kids and raising your kids at a later time. So, one of the first things is there's a great book. It's called Making Children Mind Without Losing Yours. And in this book, I learned, and I use this with one of my grandsons, is the thinking chair. Instead of sending them to timeout and they have to sit there for 20 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
the thinking chair is a chair where you sit them and they have to come up with a better solution to their problem than the way
Right.
they acted or what they did. And in doing that, it makes them think, but also they are in control on how long they sit in that
Right,
chair.
right. So,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you hear about something like the thinking chair and you think, well, my kid's not going to sit there and think about it. Well, then they'll sit there and
That's right.
they will learn that they are in control of it.
Right. And you'll find out they'll either think really, really quick or they're going to sit and ponder, but until they come up with a good solution,
Yep.
the way, in a better way to
Yep.
handle the problem, and they apologize, then, but they are in control of that. It's not you just sit there for 20 minutes. They
Right.
have to take responsibility.
So another idea we have here is the buddy shirt, and I don't have a description of this, but I'm just going to guess.
Okay.
Take the children, put them in a singular shirt.
That's right.
And they have to work together to get around and
right.
and all those type of things. So
that's right.
Each one's kind of only got one arm out the side, sort of thing.
Right.
Yep.
So if they can't get along and they're quarreling, then they need to be put in the buddy shirt and they have to learn teamwork.
Mm-hmm.
And if nothing else, doing this, well, a lot of times they'll bust up laughing and they'll just forget why they were
Right.
even quarreling. But it will make them learn to, work together. So you can either put them in an extra large pair of pants or an extra large shirt and then, let them try to figure it out.
So the reason why I read, and talked about the buddy shirt is this next one. I've heard a lot about it. I would like to hear this from the horse's mouth, as it were.
That's right.
So,
one of the things that I initiated and developed when my kids were little was called Mr. Webster. I was at work one day, and it was the first day I let my kids stay home by themselves. They were old enough. And I got like 10 calls from my kids within an hour. This one's doing this and this one's doing that. And I just couldn't take it anymore. So I left work. I went and picked up the kids. I got 2 Webster's dictionaries. I took them to their grandma's house. And each one of them had to write the first 100 words of an alphabet. So, like one child had A, the other child had B. They had to write the word, the phonetic spelling, and the definition. And I figured in doing that, they would learn new words, they would have practice writing, and by the time they graduated, they would probably have their own handwritten dictionary. But I have to tell you, I only ever had to do that once. After that, all I had to say was, "Do you want to visit Mr. Webster?"
Yeah, so my only question is, could it be Mr. Oxford if that's the dictionary you have?
Oh, you certainly could if you wanted to.
Could it be? I know Mr. Webster has a ring to it.
Yeah. But yeah,
it could be MrDictionary.com too if that's what you've got.
So, well, it'd be pretty hard to copy off the phone.
Yeah, well, it'll take as long as it takes.
Yeah. But anyways, that's the Mr. Webster, and that's something that, back in the 90s, that's what I started and that's what I stayed with. But, it was funny that I figured they would have to write more than just that first 100 words, but they didn't. They wrote the first 100, and then all I had to say was, "Do you want to visit Mr.
Right,
Webster?"
because you think about it.
That was it.
You think about writing 100 things, and it doesn't sound all that bad, but when you consider the word and the definition and the phonetic spelling, and heck, even throw in got to write a sentence with it.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is this tells you the difference in kids is the one child finished them probably in 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
The other one was supposed to spend the night with a cousin, and he thought he was going to get out of it. Well, he didn't. It took him till like 11 o'clock that night to finish, and he didn't get to spend the night with his cousin.
But that's,
But he had to learn. They have to learn.
Some of the best consequences are those natural.
Right. That's
ones.
right.
Yep.
So, but anyways, you need to learn to cherish the time that you have with your kids. It's hard times, but time flies by so fast.
And there's so much going on for today's kids to deal with. Chaos, social media, internet bullying, peer pressure. Sometimes you need to step back. Kids still need to be kids, play outside, have friends, build forts, play with Play-Doh, etc. So clear your schedule as much as possible. Plan out their time off school, but you still need to be flexible.
Right, you do. You don't want to have every waking minute planned.
Sure.
Let's face it, they're going to play with some of their Christmas toys that they got.
Yep.
And sometimes kids just need to chill. So, be flexible, but try to enjoy it because, before you know it, Christmas vacation is going to be over. The new year is going to be here. And all the new challenges of the new year have their own things that we're going to have to deal with, which right off the bat, it's tax time. But anyways, we want you to enjoy your Christmas and your New Year's vacations while the kids are off school this year.
Yeah, you really got to try to look forward to it instead of dreading it. And for me, even just putting that mindset in my head, that little sentence, keeping that in mind can help.
Yeah.
Where you focus your mind does have a lot to do with it too.
It does. And where's your priority?
Yep.
Because we get busy and we think of everything we have to get done and what's on our to-do list. And, dealing with the kids sometimes is just another thing. And it can't just be just another thing because, when it's all said and done, your kids are your kids forever. But we don't know how long we do have on this earth. And, you know, they're going to be growing up one day and being gone, and you're going to wish at some point in time they were still here, and
Right.
you're going to reminisce about the things that they used to do.
Right. So, from our house to yours, we wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas and a great Christmas vacation with the kids.
Yeah. Woo-hoo!
I was trying to hit the camera.
Well, you don't want to hit the camera.
All right, well, that's my phone. It's in a good case. All right. See you next time, everybody.
All right. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.